I'm vengeance. Whoa! This guy's crazy!
The Batman is directed by Matt Reeves, who previously directed Cloverfield and the recent Planet of the Apes films, and focuses on a new timeline with Bruce Wayne in his early years as Batman, struggling to take down the mysterious killer, the Riddler, and unmask the truth behind the corruption that's plagued Gotham City. This film has been in production since 2014. It was originally supposed to focus on Ben Affleck's Batman Deathstroke, but that's obviously not what this is. Due to Warner Bros. Struggles in crafting the DCEU and Affleck having conflicts with the role to the point of stepping down, those plans were scrapped in favor of an original story set in a new timeline and focused on the detective side of the character. And the hype for this movie from the internet, comic fans, and film fans has been off the charts for the last few years. And I was no different. This was in my top 2 most anticipated films for this year. And I don't think we've ever really gotten a full detective story in a live-action Batman movie. And we haven't had a solo story for Batman since The Dark Knight Rises. But my God, was the wait worth it, because this movie is genuinely masterful. I've thought long and hard about this, but The Batman might just be one of the best comic book movies ever made. It's not the best Batman film, nothing will ever top The Dark Knight, but it is a close second for a contender for the best Batman film to date. When it comes to the directing, this is undeniably the best directed film I've seen since The French Dispatch last year. The gritty tone the trailer show was no exaggeration. This movie is as dark and brutal as you can get. This doesn't even feel like a superhero movie for the most part, rather a psychological horror film. And that's thanks to Reeves' new take on this franchise that could be associated with some of the newer Batman comics and graphic novels. The film also has a refreshing nature to it. This has got to be the first comic book movie I've seen since, ironically, Batman Begins that had no connection or references to other films in this genre. There are no references to the DCEU, it's not connected to previous Batman films. This movie basically took any attempts at fan service, knocked it to the ground, punched it repeatedly, tore it apart, put it in a trash can, and lit it on fire. There's no giant CGI fights in the film at all. The action is completely grounded. And it's so nice to see something that feels so original from a common genre that people go into, having a good sense of what to expect most of the time. The story is also insanely well crafted and is gripping from beginning to end. Reeves manages to suck you in from the very first shot, and the way he establishes the setting and characters and how he fully explores the detective side of Batman through the dark tone, how Batman operates himself as a hero, how he takes the time to closely examine and break down the crime scenes and subtle clues throughout the film. It's just all too great to be expressed in words. An easy complaint about this film is that it's long, and I mean really long. It's a few minutes away from being 3 hours. But honestly, I wouldn't have minded if it was 4 hours, because the mystery is consistently engaging. I was never bored with it, which is an amazing thing to accomplish. And the pacing helped with that. The plot was always moving along at a consistent speed and made sure to slow down for scenes that needed more time to establish what it needed to do. And I think it all came together in the ending twist. I was actually shaking and unable to breathe. There was even a moment I remember where the entire audience gasped in horror. It was insane. And Reeves' directing accomplishments don't just stop there. The cinematography is next level incredible. So many establishing shots with the sets and scenes during the action sequences are flowing with creativity and ambition, and it looks beautiful, especially in IMAX. This might also have the best example of sound editing, as if the score was incredible enough, it fits each scene so well, and the sound effects used during the action scenes make you feel like you are right inside the action with how near they sound. The IMAX theater brought this aspect to life, where it feels like there was a live orchestra around you during the score highlights, and you are surrounded by motor engines during that car chase. It's immersive as heck. I was also surprised by how well performed this film was. Robert Pattinson killed it as Batman, but also carried that strong emotion of Bruce Wayne's character while balancing the gritty nature of the hero. Paul Dano might have been my favorite performance. He's genuinely terrifying as the Riddler, and they do not hold back on how disturbing and horrifying his actions and background are. Colin Farrell was perfect casting as the Penguin, and I love the prosthetics on him. Zoe Kravitz is phenomenal as Catwoman. Andy Serkis surprised me with how well executed his take on Alfred was, and Jeffrey Wright could not have done a better job as Commissioner Gordon. We're only 3 months into this year, and I think I've already found the best movie of 2022. Again, it's not as phenomenal as The Dark Knight, but deserves to be seen as a major filmmaking accomplishment in the comic book movie genre. All I can say at this point is, see it. In case you can't tell from a few points, this is one of those films that needs to be experienced in IMAX, and only IMAX if you want the full experience. Believe the hype, this might be one of the best comic book films of all time, and delivered everything we were promised and may have even exceeded expectations. I thought it would take a while to give out another one of these, but I'm giving The Batman a 10 out of 10. Anyway, those were my thoughts on The Batman. I hope you enjoyed this review. The reason why it's a little late is that it took a while for me to process and think about how to express everything I adore about this film. And I still feel like I haven't covered it all even after making this. But with that being said, what were your thoughts on The Batman? Are you excited to see what's next with the character? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.
You're part of this too. How am I part of it? You'll see.